For those with good taste.
Welcome back, Tasties and Tastettes, to another movie review with FTWGT. My name is Lenny. This is D-Ray. D-Ray says his name 3 times and he does appear. Boo. And Dante, as always, producer extraordinaire in the closet, coming out at ya.
Sure.
And this week we're talking, if you couldn't tell, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
The juice is loose, boys.
I was just pausing for a second because I was hoping Michael Keaton would appear in the room.
Guest star.
We're going to get into the movie, but first I want to talk about your experience. So those of you who didn't watch last week, Dave was in Cali. Not born and raised, but maybe soon moving there. I don't know how much you liked it.
No, I mean it was cool. I got some rest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Relaxation.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice and peaceful.
Get it? Yeah, I love that. Love that
Yeah.
for you. How was the so you went to like a world-renowned legendary theater to see this movie?
Yeah. So I got to see the Chinese theater in Hollywood out in LA. It wasn't really the plan.
Were there subtitles?
No.
All right.
No.
Got it.
I went with some friends, and one of my friends, Eric, he had a concert that he was going to out in Hollywood. I don't remember. He told me who the band was. Never heard of them. Don't remember what he said.
Megadeth.
But essentially, me and my friend Pat kind of just got stuck in Hollywood while he was at this concert. So we were looking for something to do. And, the Chinese theater being right there, they were premiering Beetlejuice, I think, 2 days early from like normal releases.
Mhm.
So it's pretty cool. We got to go see that.
What was the vibe? Because it obviously looks cool from the outside.
Vibe was great. So we were a little worried about anytime you've kind of seen, I think, or at least anytime I've seen the Chinese theater on any sort of like videos, whether it's like in a movie or if it's like in just somebody's YouTube channel or podcast, there's a lot of weirdos kind of hanging out and around the block, either trying to sell you stuff or
Hand
in
out those
like
Hollywood tourist guides.
tour guides or just people in like really bad like Elvis cosplays or Spider-Man cosplays. But no, it was honestly pretty chill. There was nothing really weird going on.
I feel like because of that, you didn't get the full experience.
Fair.
Sure, but you know what? I was happy. Like, I don't think I
I'd be
wanted to
bummed.
really bump into any of those weirdos. But
I'd like to meet Elvis.
yeah, sitting on the
That'd be-
toilet.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I'd like that.
Got to walk up and down the Hollywood kind of like Hall of Fame, like all the Hollywood stars and whatnot. So,
Mhm.
there's a lot of like decently big names, kind of like right there in front of the theater, like Tim Burton being one of them, like Nicolas Cage. Like, it was really cool. And then so they were actually running this Beetlejuice Afterlife experience. It was like a whole like kind of like pop up like theme experience like in the mall of like the Chinese theater. I didn't get a chance to actually go through and walk through that. It was like a $25 ticket to walk in. And it was like I think it was like a 60-minute experience being able to walk around. We kind of just didn't have enough time right before the movie started.
Yeah.
We didn't realize it was there until we had already bought our tickets and we were going in. But we were able to kind of just walk through and just pop our heads into the gift shop at the end of it. Got myself a nice little handbook of the recently deceased shirt.
Yep. Very appropriate for the times.
Yeah.
Now, a concern of mine when I see theaters like this is like, was it modernized, the theater?
So yes. I think it's kind of broken up into 2 spots. You have that main Chinese theater, like kind of foyer where like everybody's outside and they're kind of hanging out. And there's theater doors that go into a theater there. And they were showing the movie. And then there is a modernized, just normal theater that's like in the mall. I think it's partly attached to this theater. But we bought our tickets and then we were kind of walking around up and down the street waiting for our movie to start. And then we tried to go into that main door and he was like, no, you got to go up the stairs and around the corner. So it's still technically the same theater, but I think that's more of like, I don't know, like a play styled like amphitheater down
Okay,
there, but
okay.
they show movies. And then they have a normal
Like
theater.
a regular theater with it.
Yeah.
So they probably keep that there for like historical reasons, and like
Yeah.
so people can still get the experience of it. But then like, hey, for modern movies, we want to be able to still bring that experience.
Yeah, and the theater that we did end up going into was really nice, and like funny enough, we were obviously talking about this a couple of weeks ago, but we did end up seeing Beetlejuice in 4D.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which sense was the best?
Um, so the chairs moved around a little bit, but it wasn't necessarily like a jarring movie that like it kind of felt that it was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they would blow the occasional like air in your face, water in your face.
Any good smells?
Only at the very end, was there like kind of like a flowery type scent. That was the only scent that I could really kind of tell.
Okay.
Huh.
Trying to figure out when that would have been in the movie. Cake?
Um, yeah,
Oh, damn, my bad.
no,
Damn it.
no, after that.
Son of a bitch.
And then I guess like the one that like kind of worked the best was there was like I guess a big flashlight on the ceiling, and any time that there was lightning strike, it would just kind of flash the whole theater.
Huh.
Now, I think that was the most fitting throughout the whole movie.
I think I need to go to a 4D movie because I just don't really understand like what it adds to the
I
experience.
think if there was any movie to watch in 4D, it would have been Twisters, and I think we kind of missed that one.
Yeah, they'd just be blowing air in your face the whole time.
yeah, like I'm
Yeah,
not
But
throwing
no,
up
I
from the
definitely think
seat
that
movie.
your seat would be just absolutely rocking the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
I don't know. I feel like I'll try to make one of those. Maybe by the end of the year, add that to the list, you know? Um, okay, so Beetlejuice. I watched Beetlejuice for the first time last week.
The original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like first time ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just realizing like I just missed like because of the fact that I think I just grew up too fast on the types of movies I was watching in the 90s was all just like fucking R-rated action movies, and I just didn't really catch like some of this stuff. It just didn't play to me the same way or appeal to me, I suppose, you know. Um so watch this. I get the love people have for Beetlejuice. I think watching it in 2024 for the first time, it doesn't maybe hold up the same way, you know, rightfully so. I appreciate like claymation and all of that, and I think it's cool to go back and be like this is what we were doing to, you know, work around special effect limitations and what like 84 was when this came out, or
I
is
think
that
88.
88? Okay. Um so yeah, I liked it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like what remains true to me for both of these movies is without Michael Keaton, I think this is probably not anywhere near the success level that it's at. And I get tying into Beetlejuice. I found myself watching the new movie and being like blown away at his ability to take like 30 years between movies, and it's
Be
like
the same person.
it never skipped a beat.
Yeah,
Like
legit.
I was just blown away by that because like in the new movie he's incredible, and I think in the original he's just the strongest part of that movie. I don't think I don't think anything's particularly special about that first movie aside from him personally. I don't know if you guys feel differently. You obviously, Dante, you haven't watched it from until recently either, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Dave,
Like I
you
had
saw it.
seen bits and pieces of it before, but I think the first time like watching the whole movie through was like 2 weeks ago or whenever I watched
I mean,
it.
I've probably watched it like a dozen times.
Yeah, like so, like, but do you remember your impressions as a kid of watching it?
I mean, I just loved like the whole like creepy like stylization.
Yeah,
I was a
Yeah.
pussy as a kid, so I was probably scared of it, to be honest.
yeah. I think it's I could definitely see it being scary if I was like 8 or 9 years old, like some of it, you know. But at the same time, it's like so campy.
Yeah, it doesn't play to actually be scary.
Yeah,
It's weird and like kind of gross, but it's just I don't know. It's kind of just
You got to understand my level of fear as a child. I was scared of Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, so
I mean,
yeah,
he touched little kids, so that
He
that
did
makes
not.
sense.
allegedly. We're not gonna get into that.
Allegedly.
Never mind.
go find Neverland.
Allegedly.
Dante. Yeah, so I guess the long story short of this for me, and I would like to know where you guys fall. I think that I this new one's better to me.
Yeah, a whole lot better. I think it's a very fitting sequel. I think they're now able to do a lot more with the special effects that they were kind of held back by in the 80s. I like that they kind of like dumbed it down to still give it that similar feel. With like a lot of like the claymation stuff and whatnot. Um, I think it was a great sequel.
I don't think I would say it's better or worse. I honestly think it's pretty much just on par with the original, and for me, that's a win.
I think there's more in this one. Like I think there's more story to this one, which is fair because like they're building on stuff from the original, but I like that it wasn't just like Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton. It's like I think the Jenny Ortega storyline, serves itself well throughout this movie, and I think there's just enough going on with multiple characters. Whereas, like, I don't know, like I feel like the first one, it's there's not a ton for me until the last like 20 minutes or so of the first movie, where I feel like I was pretty locked in through a majority of this one. Like, I
Yeah,
guess I liked the couple in the first one, like the married couple or whatever, the one that passed away. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
liked them, but I didn't really care for like the immediate family of Winona Ryder that much, and like it didn't really do anything for me in that regard. So you're kind of just building up this whole time to when you finally get like Beetlejuice introduced into the real world in that one. Whereas this one, I feel like pretty steadily throughout the whole movie. Um, I was entertained with all the different aspects of what's going on.
I think that's also probably just due to like you being a little bit more grounded with like the I don't know, the background of the characters in this second movie. You didn't really need as much exposition into like their origins, and you kind
Yeah.
of knew what was going on right off the rip. And Jenna Ortega's character was really the only like, well, I guess, and the weird codependent uh fiance boyfriend guy.
Yeah.
Really the only
Yeah.
two new characters.
Jennifer Aniston's ex-husband, I think is that who that is?
No
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
I've heard of him. I've seen him.
Pretty sure he married Jennifer Aniston at one point.
Oh, good for him.
Justin Theroux,
Yeah,
that's his name.
thought he was the Prime Minister of Canada.
Close.
Yeah.
Not quite the same. Um, yeah, going through the cast, I thought Jenny Ortega, like she's good in just about everything she's in at this point, and I think
She's
she was
great.
very good in this. Winona Ryder, again, I think was very solid. She's had kind of like a good like renaissance to her career. I feel like from Stranger Things on has been pretty strong. I thought Willem Dafoe was just amazing for what he's in, like in this movie. I think he's
Yeah.
very funny
Yeah.
throughout it. The Danny DeVito cameo, I don't know if that's a spoiler. Like, I don't think it's a big deal if it is.
I mean, I didn't know he was in it until just
No.
like you saw the back of his head.
I
And I,
saw-
was just
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
I was
Saw the
wondering if
back
they
of
were
his
ever
head
gonna.
immediately. We're like, yo, I know that.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
almost wondering, are they going to show us the front of him, or are we just going to have to know that that's Danny DeVito the whole time?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal to spoil that. It's not like it's a major part of anything. It's not like it's a Deadpool Wolverine like level spoiler as far as cameos are concerned. But funny little bit of him being in there. Is it Kathleen O'Hara?
Catherine O'Hara. Yeah.
Kathleen O'Hara is the older woman. She was really good in it too. And then, like I said,
Delia
like,
Dietz.
yeah, like I said, I think it's Keaton all the way, dude. Like every second that he is on the screen in this movie is just like you don't want to see him fucking leave. He's just hilarious through the
Yeah.
whole thing. And I it's like one of those things where it's like he's the perfect character of he's the bad guy, but also like you like him a ton through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely steals the show. I mean, he's the titular
Yeah.
character or whatever.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the difference is in the first movie, I feel like it wasn't he's the title character in it, but not nearly as relied upon in the first movie. I think he's in way more of this. This movie's longer too, but like he's just in way more of this movie, which is a plus. How did you guys feel about like the mother-daughter relationship? Do you think that added something good in here? Like, or like even the evolution of Winona Ryder's character, like now being like a ghost chaser or whatever. Not a ghost
Um,
chaser, but like
I liked it. I think it tracks.
Yeah, so I mean, I liked kind of, I guess, where I liked her occupation and kind of like where I guess her life went from the original movie to here. Um, I think as we get into spoilers, I'll kind of discuss my feelings on just Lydia Dietz as a character today. It would probably be one of my only criticisms of the entire movie.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think the one thing that does play from movie to movie is that like the original family in the first movie are so like wealth driven, like they want to be rich and all of that. Um that like it's an appropriate like next progression of the story that like, both the it's not her mother, right?
so I've I've seen the movie so many times, and I even rewatched it again. Like, I think it is
Don't they say her parents like that Winona Ryder's parents like die and like she gets taken in by them? Like that's her aunt and uncle or something like that? But then she's essentially the grandmother to Jenny Ortega's
okay.
character.
So yeah, no, Delia is the stepmother
Okay.
of Lydia. So I don't know where her actual mother went, but
So then is Charles supposed to be her actual father?
yes,
Okay.
Is he dead in real life?
no,
Okay.
no.
We'll get it. I guess that's weird. Yeah, I want to get into spoilers. So like overall, to reiterate, I think this is a total hit. Like I think it's very good. I think it lived up to any expectations that it had. Watching the movie and then retrospectively thinking about the trailer, I think I really like that trailer that they put out too, just because I think it hits on like what I saw from the full movie once I watched it, the first Beetlejuice movie. Like I think like the nostalgia and everything that you must have felt like seeing that trailer pop up and being like, holy shit, like they're doing all of this. Also the music choices,
Awesome.
especially in the first movie. I think that that's like the standout in the first movie. But like the funeral scene in this, like uh, I loved that. Yeah, like I think the music choices are all like fantastic, great soundtrack to it. Um, so yeah, I think it's a definite watch. Even if you, as a person who didn't until a week ago really care at all for the franchise, I think I would definitely recommend it.
Valid.
We good for spoilers?
Yeah,
All right, let's hit it. Three, two, one.
Spoiler.
Do you want to start with your gripe?
sure. So having obviously now seen the original movie, you got to watch Winona Ryder play this like really dark gothic girl in
Yeah,
Lydia Dietz as a teenager.
that she was thinking about like killing herself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, Jenna Ortega comes into this movie and basically fills in that exact same role, having now been her teenage daughter. What I guess I didn't care so much about was just the all of a sudden like flip of Lydia Dietz's character, where I feel like Winona Ryder more so played her like kind of neurotic self in this role versus still being that dark gothic girl who can commune with the dead. She was just very panicky, um and like I don't know, just it just kind of felt like a weird take where I feel like it's more so who Winona Ryder is today, also mixed with like her portrayal of Joyce Byer in like Stranger Things.
yeah. I could see a little bit of the Stranger Things stuff leaking in, but I think that that's just naturally like they're similar stories in a way and like feeling movie versus show. I don't know. I think it does make sense in some regards that she's not going to be like the depressed teenager when she's in her 40s. Um,
I mean, she was full of confidence as well in the original movie, like where she had none in this movie.
yeah,
But I think that also tracks, going from like teenager to adult. Like also like the gothic thing for most people in their teens is like a phase.
she
So
and I
like she still kept elements of it, but I think it's okay as far as like character progression that she's not the same exact person that she was when she was 16 or whatever.
I think it also tracks Dante in regards to like she didn't almost marry a fucking demon until the end of that movie, and like that might have it might fuck with you a little bit. And then
Yeah.
like you've been seeing like you've seen dead shit from there on out,
It's
and
like,
on
yeah, shit
top
like
of
that'll
it,
humble you.
yeah, and then on top of that, now you're starting to see that demon again that traumatized you as a kid. And like we haven't even talked about it, but like the loss of the husband. That she, that's the whole reason that the Justin Thoreau character is introduced is like she does have a husband, he does die. That traumatizes her enough to go to like a therapy thing.
I mean, like, I'm not saying that obviously, like, that's not gonna mess with her, but like, she did also say in the movie that their relationship was long since ended before he passed.
Yeah, that could, but like, do you think that at all? They don't explain this, but is that a coping thing with the fact that she can see all of these other dead people, but she can't see her husband?
Yeah, I mean, that probably does obviously mess with her.
Like
Obviously
that's
messes
her
with her daughter as well.
justifying. That's her in her head justifying why she can't see him.
For a large majority of the movie, I thought like that whole plot line was because maybe the husband wasn't dead.
Until you saw him in the afterlife. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a plausibility as well. Um,
Because even like Jenna Ortega's character was talking about like, oh, like they never found his body and like shit like that. And I was like, oh, maybe he's not dead.
when you see him dead, it makes sense why they didn't find his body.
Yeah.
The other part to this though is like, how come Jenny Ortega like has not believed that her mom can do any of this stuff the whole time, but and then like, it just happens to be she can see one dead person. Like she didn't see any of the dead people any of the other times, you know? Like I think that that's kind of weird.
Well, I don't know if it's a family thing with like obviously just being a certain age.
It just turns on.
Yeah.
She turned like 17 or whatever, and she just all of a sudden it kicked in.
I mean, I guess that
This
kind of
cute
tracks.
boy
Just
in a
think about
fucking
Lydia Dietz in the first movie.
treehouse.
Like, she didn't see her first dead people until she was like that age.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just it's movie convenience.
Maybe it's just the town as well. Actually, no, because Lydia clearly has a show in New York and she goes.
But
around
maybe
and
that's
does
where
all
it like sparks the ability in you to do it. What did you guys think of the Treehouse Boy? Did you pick up on the fact that he was dead? Do you think they hid that well?
I figured it out once they showed the parents.
that.
Like with the blade in there?
Well, no,
I
like
because I
no,
did
like
too.
the first time they showed the parents and they didn't show their faces, I was like, oh, something's off. I don't think they're alive.
Yeah, I didn't really stop to think about it, so I didn't really catch on to it until they were floating. And then
Yeah.
I'm also gonna say like I saw this twice.
Okay.
So I saw Beetlejuice,
So you saw
Beetlejuice.
okay.
Um watching through it the second time and obviously then just kind of like stopping and like paying a little bit more attention. The original scene when she comes in when
She hits the tree.
what's her Jenna Ortega's character's name? It was
This is what I used
Astrid.
Dante for.
Astrid, yeah. When she goes into
Shouldn't
the
have a
house
cheat.
for the first time and like walks past the parents, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, like I think I remember seeing the father and him just watching TV, not seeing his face. The mother, however, is
You see
moving
half her face.
around in the
No,
kitchen.
you never see her face.
You don't
You never
see her
either of
face,
their faces.
but you see her turn and you see a side profile, but you don't see the face. And obviously, the device that later shows up in the movie that killed her was like an egg mixer or whatever, something.
Was it? I thought it. Yeah. Okay.
It was like a whisk or something, right?
Yeah, but like one of the ones you crank,
Yeah.
obviously sticking out of her eye. That device was not sticking out of her head or face. In the
I thought they had
original
just
scene.
showed it in a way because like I knew you saw her profile. I just thought they had like seeing it the one time and then realizing like what had happened, like that I had remembered it as them intentionally just showing you the side of her that you wouldn't see that.
I mean, the thing was massive when you actually did see her.
Yeah.
Lydia come into the house and run up the
Got it.
stairs. You would have seen it from the side profile that they showed you in the original scene. Had they just had the mother facing forward, then sure.
I think the only red flag, because I didn't really pick it up until they were floating either. Like, and then obviously you're like, oh, it makes perfect sense that when she's dropping off, when Lydia, what is that? That's Winona's character.
Yeah.
All right, that's terrible with character names. when she's dropping off Astrid and she like looks up and he's in the window, I'm like oh, okay, like that makes sense why she could see him and it doesn't trigger as like weird
Right.
or anything. But the only thing that felt weird was when like they're walking through the house and it's like he has a girl over and they're supposed to be teenagers and he's just bringing her up to the bedroom, no problem, and they don't even like stop to say hello or anything. Like
Yeah.
I did think that like that was like, oh, this is kind of a weird thing, but you don't really like it didn't click to me like, oh, he's probably dead. It was just like there's something weird about this.
So I didn't get anything weird from like the girl walking through the house and going upstairs. What I did find weird was obviously kind of like before that you know that he is the bad guy. When you find out that he's a ghost, my first thoughts was like he interacted with the two parents downstairs.
Yeah.
So hey, let's go figure that out before we go through a magical demon door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like it makes sense that he is preying on her. Like what he figured out was her greatest weakness. Like
Yeah.
she clearly is not over the death of her father, and that's like the thing that's like hindered like her development essentially as like a person is just being hung up on this, and it's tarnished her relationship with her mother and everything. You know, um, the next storyline, the did you care for the ex-wife of Beetlejuice?
No. It's
I don't
kind
think
of
they did a ton with that character really until the end.
But I think that that's the problem is that that's the only reason it's really there is to kind of give like a
A
big
wrap up to
bad,
the story.
yeah, like a big bad at the end kind of role. It didn't really do much other than that because like the rest of the movie exists without that character being a thing,
Yeah.
basically.
yeah. I think it was just a way to get you know Tim Burton's sweetheart into the movie.
That's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh,
Good for
didn't
him.
know that. I mean, I think if they had more like close brushes with her, like obviously in the afterlife, like they're trying to like avoid her and shit. Like, I think if they had more close brushes with her and like use the character a little bit more, it would have been better. But again, there was really nothing until the end.
Yeah, it's like you didn't even get like really like even Beetlejuice. He barricades into that room, which wouldn't have stopped anything, by the way.
Yeah.
But like it does, like he doesn't avoid her. He did like honestly, she kind of sucks at her job
Yeah.
of like finding him because she just gets nowhere close the whole
It
time.
was just a weird little storyline, but like what I will say that I did enjoy that came from it was a little Italian origin story that we got.
Yeah, that was
The
funny.
black and white, like when
Oh,
Beetlejuice
yeah,
was
yeah.
alive.
Yeah,
How he was just a shitty person then being a grave robber. Just finds this woman and who wants to suck his soul, and they kill each other. Well, that was-
I'm about that.
I thought that was just for the soul sucking woman is just like that's a dream for a lot of people. I did also like really as far as things I liked, like I talked about the claymation in the original movie. I like that you got like the scene on the plane.
Yep.
Just as a little nod to that, like, hey, we're still gonna like play around with some of these older themes. And I thought that was a fun scene. I also liked that. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I think it's weird that like the guy's not that he's not dead in real life, but they killed his character in the movie and
Yeah.
didn't use him.
I didn't look up why he's not in this movie, but I mean, I assume the claymation was because they couldn't have. him
Yeah,
as the actual
all I looked
actor in
up, I
there.
was just like, hey, like, is he dead? And I just saw that there was no like death date. So
I liked that his character is just like a headless version of himself. I like the scene where he sits on the couch with the surfer.
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And did you pick up on like the grave being a shark fin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool grave too.
Yeah.
Look like an ice sculpture. Gonna melt.
Well, that's Delia's thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Art. Anything else that stood out to you guys as far as likes?
I mean, I liked the whole like opening credit scene too. I think that was just an ode to like a sequel of a movie from the 80s kind of thing.
I don't remember it.
It was like the flying over
Oh,
winter
yeah.
winter cove, winter spring,
Yeah, okay.
winter.
Something, the town.
Yeah. But it was basically like flying over the model as well
Mhm.
as going down.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was cool.
The stepmother dying thing, I thought was very funny as well. Uh, we haven't gotten into the father yet,
No.
so like dad's dead the whole time. Like you said, Dante, I agree with you. Like I was like anticipating, like, is he not actually dead? But then would it make sense for him to just show up alive in this movie if he's been missing this whole time? I don't think that. I thought you might have got a news report at the end of the movie that was like and found alive, like or something.
Yeah.
But I do like instead that it's like, well, no, he was just attacked by fucking piranhas, so that's why they never found him.
There's
Like,
nothing of him left. Yeah.
but the interesting thing there is like so her stepdad or no her actual dad is as he was killed in real life, like a shark bit in half that has no top to him. But then if like he got attacked by piranhas, and I'm assuming the reason they couldn't find his body was it was torn to bits to the point where they couldn't find it. But in the afterlife, he's just got like piranhas
Because
hanging
I'm
off
sure
of him.
because you got to think about the moment he died. He probably died well before they ate all of his body.
Okay, so that's what they're. I get you.
Yeah.
All right. So like you get brought in the way you died, which would be with them like on his fucking throat,
Yeah, exactly.
but not as if he had been torn apart within that death.
Yeah, but then like wouldn't that mean like the piranhas are also dead?
Yeah, to take them with him.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
I
Just
mean,
a
it's
device
just
of
the
movie,
style.
Were there
yeah.
dead
Yeah.
animals? Do we have any dead
Um,
dogs or anything?
There was cats.
In the afterlife?
There was the cat lady sitting on the couch.
Oh yeah, you're right.
yeah. Huh.
Oh yeah, because she was mauled to death by her cats.
Um, I mean, I think another standout performance in this movie, and like, I want to say like R.I.P. to my boy Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He like the very very funny. Yeah.
I
I didn't know
love
that he
that
was.
the end credits start with like a dedication to him.
Yeah.
In loving memory of Bob.
I didn't think that he was gonna be susceptible to getting his soul sucked.
Yeah, I thought, he just had his mouth shut and just nothing would come out, and he'd just kind of be sitting there looking at her like, okay.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we good now? Yeah.
I think I would have loved that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was surprised they just had him die like that. But yeah, I thought that his character, and it's just funny to have like, I guess it goes to show how good like the Beetlejuice character is, that like he's able to play off a character who literally can't say anything, and it just works so well that like Beetlejuice just talks so much and talks like literally just nonsense so much that it just works to have a character that he can't play off of at all except for like facial cues and like, and it props to whoever they're using. I don't know if it's like, is it CGI for Bob? Is it like an actual stand-in actor?
No, I think it's an actual person, because if you notice like their height, I think it was like a
and then
device
they
on
just
top of
have
someone's
like
head.
the clay
Yeah.
head or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the ability to like get so much out of that character without words,
Right.
I thought was very impressive. Did you guys like the Soul Train?
I love this
Yeah,
Soul
it was cool.
Train.
Yeah, it was a vibe, dude.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you want to die.
It's like, yo, if this is what the afterlife is like,
Yeah,
go
it was
for
kind of
it.
lit, dude. Yeah, all aboard the Soul Train. And like, yeah, you're in purgatory, and like that's just like that's the way you get to heaven. Like you have to like get a passport stamped and go hop on. Okay, the end. So obviously, like we already said, like I don't know that I think the villain wife thing really worked that well.
I feel like they did more with Willem Dafoe's character than they did with her.
Yeah, and like this where like Willem Dafoe, even in the end there, like
Yeah.
is just very funny. Like their complete failed attempt to shut that thing down was very funny. After it does get stopped and he does like the like, you guys want to get a picture, like fine, like thing was very funny. But the social media people, nobody felt bad that any of them were just like, they're all just dead now, right?
I mean, I don't know. Well, they didn't pop back up, but I would assume
Their phones
they-
are just scattered all through the floor after everything happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
feels
Whatevs.
like there was just a lot of murder that happened.
I mean, I feel like Willem Dafoe's character would get that all cleaned up. No,
You think so? Because he was just like, all right, back to the underworld.
They'll send a cleanup crew.
Yeah.
And like, what does that priest do now? Like that priest is like, I've seen too much.
I don't think he believes in God anymore.
Well, I think they played on the fact that he was a drinker, so maybe he won't believe it.
Yeah. It's the Irish priest who just
Yeah.
drunk all the time.
I did like the use of the one PG-13 swear.
Yes.
I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool.
And then they had to
They
bleep,
bleep out the next
the
one
other
like
one.
directly after it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I forget that.
Yeah, he says Beetlejuice says fuck.
Yeah, when the kid's getting his passport stamped, I was like, yeah, I think it was like Dostoevsky that was just said like later fucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he does that, and then yeah, like I forget why the bleep comes later, but
I think it was when his ex-wife storms into the
oh yeah, and he says, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Like yeah. Um yeah, I like that. I like the just the still continuing to play along with like the marriage thing, like through the end of this one.
Yeah.
And how that all kind of worked. Um and that like she just again finds a way out of it with your lovely book.
Yep.
Yeah, to get out. How do you guys feel about like the potential of getting a third Beetlejuice?
I
I
think
don't think there needs to be a third.
I think it's almost like 100% probable now. With just
Unfortunately, yeah.
the way you left things, like you can still continue this story.
He's
by
he's a
Shauna.
character who can just find a way back. He's always going to be just trying to find a way
Yeah,
back.
and you name your movie Beetlejuice, like you have to make a third.
Yes,
True.
that's
yeah.
also true.
So
But it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's the state of like Hollywood now. It's like, okay, cool. We got something we can make money off of, so let's keep going. But I honestly think I would have been happy if it ended here.
But
Because I feel like now they potentially may ruin it with a third.
I don't think so. I mean, I think
I agree with your idea that like yeah, it's Hollywood like sees the opportunity to make money, make another one. But like that's just that was Hollywood in the 80s too, Dante, to be fair. Like
Yeah.
I do think that like they waited this long to make one and they did a good enough job. Um it does make you wonder if that was them like they had so much time to curate a script and like find one that was going to work, and then like if you rush another one out in 3 or 4 years, is it going to have the same like meticulous like thought put into it?
And that's more so like my fear. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're pretty much saying what I was thinking.
But I guess the thing is,
you can't wait too long.
I don't know if you can fail with Keaton in this role. Because
Fair.
so much of this movie is just predicated on Beetlejuice and like his ability to like the story could be whatever and he's still gonna like it's gonna have a certain level of enjoyment because I think he is so good in the role.
Yep.
And I guess that's like the only thing, you know. And I guess you can't wait too long. Like how old is Keaton? 60 something?
I would say probably close to late 60s.
I feel like you could have clicked on his name on the screen that was in front of you, but
And then like yeah, I mean, I don't know, you can go anywhere with the story now with like I don't know, watch within like story gets progressed like 2 or 3 years and like Delia is just like running things in the underworld. Like
yeah.
I could just see her very quickly like just becoming a person down there.
Yeah, and then does Jenny Ortega's character, like Astrid, does she take over the role of like the famous I see ghost lady?
Yeah, maybe.
How old is he, Dante?
73.
Dang.
Yeah, so like
You got to make
you
it
can
soon.
you can only wait so long
Yeah.
on it. I have no problem if they make another one. Like, of course, it's got to don't just make it like for the sake of making it. And I think you have to question Burton in general. Like, I think he's more misses than hits.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of great success over the last decade.
But this is like one of his things. This isn't like a property that he's attached to
Right.
from somebody else.
Yeah,
like,
it's like his brain baby. Yeah.
yeah. So like I think that there's a certain level of love and care that he's going to put into it, and just a level of understanding that he has of the world that other people don't. That like is pretty consistent between both movies, even though again like the same love I would give to Keaton for his ability to just like 40 years later play the character as strong as he did, or 30 years later play it as good as he did. I would say give the same props to him, like that he's directing these movies and creating this world, and like there's a great cynicism between like the two of them, or symmetry between them.
Yeah.
Do
Now, I had like one other like comparison piece now. Um I assume you've watched the first season of Wednesday.
No, I was going to ask about her playing what feels like fairly similar types of roles.
Yeah, so obviously, like Tim Burton had a decent hand in Wednesday. I think he produced or directed, not the whole season, but like several episodes. So he definitely had to tie in. But like watching the movie and then thinking about it after the fact, it felt like Jenna Ortega's character in Wednesday and as Astrid essentially had the same kind of just like overarching like plot points where you have this dark creepy girl um like who is just like cynical about everything, you know randomly just fall for a boy who then in turn tries to sacrifice and kill her.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same story as Wednesday.
Whose fault is that? Is that on her typecasting herself in some ways, or is this on Burton for lacking creativity and like kind of just writing the same role twice?
I don't know. I think it's kind of it might be both. I don't know much about Jenna Ortega's other roles and how she doesn't scream and whatnot.
So Scream, she's great. She also has another movie that I watched recently. Can you pull up her IMDb real quick, Dante? It's a movie where she is a student in a school and starts an affair with her teacher. It came out like in the past couple years.
In the past couple
Yeah,
years.
can you get me?
I don't know what title I'm looking for.
So just name off. It's probably from like 2022.
So from 2022, we got Studio 666,
No,
American Carnage, Finest Kind.
no, that movie's great though. I would tell anybody to watch that. She's very good in that too.
Might be earlier than that. So 2021, we got The Fallout, Yes Day, The Babysitter Killer Queen, Worm, Girl Code, Man in
Miller's
Love.
Girl is the name of it. Sorry,
I said that one.
did you? I
Yeah,
didn't hear you. Yeah, Miller's Girl.
that was this year, by the way.
It was this year. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miller's Girl is it has mixed reviews from people. I enjoyed it, and she's really good in it.
Huh.
But yeah, and that's not like she's kind of a darker girl in that, but it's not like anything supernatural or anything. Um, but yeah, that movie, she starts an affair with a teacher. He gives her a better grade, and then he tries to like end it, and she is not having it, and writes a paper about it, and like it starts all this stuff. I don't think that she's typecast, but I do think that she clearly has a type of movie or genre that she is gravitating towards that kind of fits her. But at the same time, how old is she?
24 maybe.
She's born in 2002.
Okay. So
So
22.
22.
22.
So I mean, like the girl has got a ton of time left in front of her. Like she's gonna play probably a lot of different roles from here on. I'd say in terms of like she's got to be one of your top like people to look out
Yeah,
for.
like up and coming. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like at this point, everything she's kind of touched has been successful, and even like I do think it's kind of a red flag to have the similarities between the movie and the TV show, but both are wildly successful, right?
Right.
Like, so I can't hate on her for being involved in that. Where do you guys rank this? And
I
what
would
do we
put it
give it
pretty
for
up
stars?
I have this ranked at number 3
Okay.
for me for the
Behind what?
year. Twisters and Fall Guy.
Got it. Okay.
This
Uh,
comes in at number 9 for me. 3.5 stars.
I'm the lowest. I have it at 18. I have it at 3 stars.
Okay.
So, I mean, all three of us pretty high on it. I clearly wasn't just like I didn't give it 3.5 stars, 4 stars. I just don't have it up in that territory for me. Mostly because I think that without Keaton, it's not nearly as good of a movie as it is, and I think that he's just driving so much of what I thought was like the success of it.
But it has Keaton. So
Yeah, I know. That's where it got 3 stars.
All
I'm aware.
right.
Did you give it a star rating, Dave?
No, I don't really think I've gone through it with stars.
I think as your list grows, it just makes it easier to know
Place things,
like
yeah.
where to put things in there. Yeah. Yeah, let us know if it held up to the hype for you guys out there. Do you give it 1 Beetlejuice, 2 Beetlejuice, or 3 Beetlejuice? That'll be the ranking system for this movie if you don't have a star system. And let us know if you want to see a sequel. Who was the strongest character that wasn't Michael Keaton? Did you think that the ghost wife was the right play? Was it a necessary character? Would the movie have been fine without it? All of these things are must-ask questions, and we need your answers. Till next week, though, again, we're FTWGT. We will see you then.
Peace.
Later.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
For those with good taste.